documentary you're about to see presents possible, but not all solutions to the Cascade Bigfoot blood mystery. The findings of the remote viewers and intuitive are subject to interpretations that may be different than those of the producer. While recreating the events that transpired, some events have been dramatized. Likewise, the use of high-tech graphics and expensive special effects have been used to bring the findings of 3 people separated by a continent to a cohesive interpretation of the events surrounding the Cascade Bigfoot blood mystery. I'm Matthew Heines of Encounters USA, and if you have been following the Encounters USA podcast, you know we deal with aliens, Bigfoot, and Dogman. Unlike a lot of podcasts who sit in a studio, I actually go out and do Bigfoot investigations of my own. And it was during a Bigfoot investigation in the Cascades just 2 years ago that I came upon the Cascade Bigfoot blood mystery. While Igor, Burtsev, and I were camping out in the Cascade Mountains doing Bigfoot calls on a lake, we were gifted a patch of blood in our tent the very last morning of our camp out. Now the fact is, blood does not just mysteriously show up out of nowhere, especially when people are standing, eating, doing their thing right next to the tent. A tent that makes a lot of noise getting in and out of. So if you've seen Cascade Bigfoot blood mystery, you know that initiated a 2-year search for answers as to where that blood came from. I think you're going to be surprised because in a few minutes you're going to start to see some explanations about why you can't find Bigfoot, why you can't take a normal picture of Bigfoot. What is the connection between Bigfoot and aliens? Why is there no evidence of Bigfoot? And finally, and probably most important, we're going to answer the question of what possibly could Bigfoot be. So, we're going to use some not so conventional methods to look for our answers, while we're also going to use some conventional methods. Buckle in and enjoy the ride. If you've seen part 1 of Cascade Bigfoot Blood Mystery, then you know that a little bit over a year ago, something very strange happened in this spot. Like many people who have encountered Bigfoot or UFOs or some strange phenomenon that they can't explain, I too have experienced something that I can't explain. There are a number of things that happened a little over a year ago I am just so intrigued with that I had to return. And so will the blood show up? We don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and we'll have to find out. And what I've found since I've returned is I've found some very strange activity. In fact, as you listen, you are going to hear in the background these cows that are really, really perturbed. They seem to be very upset about something. Hello and welcome to Cascade Bigfoot Blood Mystery Part 2. This is Cascade Bigfoot Blood Mystery Part 2. This is the tent that Igor, Burtsev, and I actually slept in when he was here for his sojourn, and we came up here to investigate John's property and do the things that we did here. One of those being call blasting on this lake. So 2 nights of call blasting on the lake, 2 nights of UFO activity, and 1 morning of... I got here and there were a number of things that I wanted to do, and as I said before, I just wanted to recreate. I wanted to recreate the very conditions that were here when we were here before, but unfortunately Igor is not here and John is not here, so we don't have those conditions to recreate exactly. However, the tent, the truck, the boat, the Bigfoot calls, everything, all exactly the same.
So I have December 12th, 7 a.m. So
okay, I've got that one. That's the one I have.
Okay, so I'm ready to continue with what you did there.
Great.
You had stone color, recalcitrant, life recreation,
yes.
Recreation.
Mm-hmm.
Vantage point, natural architecture. Yes. Okay. And
earth tones.
Yes.
Could be dangerous. Writing structures. Oh wow, I remember this ideogram. It's so weird, Doc. I'm gonna just zoom in on it because usually the targets look like the ideogram. The ideogram is really weird right here.
Yes.
It's really, really weird. And it has aspects where, you know how if it's a loop, it's a biological. And some of these lines, I can't quite tell if they're a biological or not. And that might be part of the whole mega aspect of it. And there's one smaller kind of this thing, dangerous, kind of strong, and then there's almost like, it feels like this overlook kind of thing. And there's a sense of like danger, energy, kind of that's, I was getting those initial feelings just from the ideogram.
Okay, now let me look. Can you take the coordinates again, get a new sheet of paper?
Yep.
And
I wrote advanced perception I had before the whole thing. I got this sense of something human-made, human-touched, human vision, horizontal qualities. A technology makes this possible. I'm seeing machines and engines. A larger meta-structure is part of this thing. There's a temporality to it. I'm seeing green to the left, a blue sky, center line. I'm getting a center line, what do you call that? Symmetry, white intrusions. It's been created, this is the weird one. It's been created by a set of 2 that is one of many.
Well, yeah, I have had a strategy, and so the first night, my strategy was to go out on the lake and do Bigfoot call blasting and just let the Bigfoot know that, hey, I'm in the hood. Well, no, that didn't go as planned because one thing that has been a serious issue during my whole time here has been the issue of charging things. And my speaker for blasting my Bigfoot calls, by that time it was full for 25 hours of use supposedly, and I got out onto the lake and I went to do one Bigfoot call and it was died. So that night, no Bigfoot calling on the lake, but I did go out on the lake to make myself known psychically. So, if that can be done.
so you used the word outdoors. Can you describe the outdoors?
I'm getting a fractal nature on the sides. There's a focal point more towards the center, but there's a fractal nature point on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a breeze. I'm getting, sky and white, a little bit of white, maybe a lot of white, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm getting this fractal background, but there's something in the foreground. I'm getting a focal point.
My first night at Mystery Lake was somewhat disappointing because I didn't see any of my UFO friends that I had seen the year before. However, if you haven't seen Cascade Bigfoot Blood Mystery, here is a repeat of what happened on that mysterious night back in June of 2021.
Can you describe the wood color?
The wood color.
I'm using your words. I'm just cueing you on the words you came up with before we even started this
They were
part of the thing.
There were like, lines, brown. If you really zoomed in on it, you'd see lots of little lines. Okay, the wood color. So I'm getting a 90-degree turn somewhere. Getting a turn, a bend down. Getting a bend down with the wood color. And the wood color has like little bits of other color in it. Little bits. It's like, it's all one shade, but it's composed of little different, granularity. Don't put brown. Similar past scores of visions of places. Yes, I did see that. Yes. And when I was feeling the sides, that had that granularity of stone, wood, hardness. This brown. Okay, so I'm getting this granularity and a hardness over here on the left-hand side. I'm trying to draw it. I'm getting a sense of an arch. This is where I was seeing that turn that I just did. This kind of arch, lots of lines. I'm definitely getting more granularity. Over here, nature. This is just like something, this is just being so familiar. Like I did a target similar to this recently. I'm getting that. I'm getting... I'm getting brown on the sides here, darker. There's a darkerness over here. There's openings. I'm getting an opening. Some shapes in here. There's some details I'm just not seeing in here. Oh, see if that helps a little. I'm getting some details in here. I'm getting a structure here.
Okay. Can you move inside the structure and describe?
I'm seeing dark shadows. I'm seeing shadows inside here. I'm seeing a geometry of a curve. I'm powered.
Can you move 50 feet over the structure and describe?
50 feet over the whole structure.
And describe.
And describe. Let me do another. 50 feet above. Getting something strong right here. 50 feet above, there's this built recreation structure here. I'm seeing Earth down here, of course, and then this structure. 50 feet above, I'm getting something weird. I'm getting this movement. I'm getting a movement here. Getting a movement.
Can you describe the movement?
A curiosity, a power, a curiosity. maybe not a fire, but it's an interesting state of matter, actually. It's like water has several states. All right, so I'm getting this energy. I'm getting a flow, a movement here. I'm getting a force this way, force down, and a force up here, upwards, force up. I didn't write any of this down, but up here, a force, a strong structure here. Getting this force, I'm getting colored. I mean, like a hot blue. Right here, I'm gonna put hot blue. Hot B-L-U-E, hot blue. Blue. I'm getting some blue here. This is actually supposed to be the center of the image. I have it justified a little to the left for some weird reason. I don't know if that means anything. Getting up here. I'm getting life in here. Okay, I'm feeling like there's life. I don't want to say the word I'm thinking, but I'm getting a
Can
uniform.
you describe the life?
Like old-fashioned classic way of dressing. I'm seeing a pencil. I don't want to say what I think it is. I'm getting like military.
Well, you can do AOL. That's what the A dash column for is for.
Yeah, I'm gonna put pilot up here just because that word just came to my head. Navigator. I'm just gonna put some words up here that are just coming to my head for some reason. Sometimes it's just symbolic, more than navigator.
Okay, now you described in the previous session, you used the word like sense of danger. Is that right? What was
Yeah.
Can you describe the danger?
I'm getting danger in multiple ways. I'm getting danger in multiple ways. You can be death by violence from getting a fall. Getting a fall to the death. I'm getting death from above kind of feelings. Brute force. Getting some words. I don't know if I should write them down. If it's too much of a lead, but I'm getting war, tools, event.
Describe the event.
It's since 1941. Since 1941. That's weird. All right.
Okay. Can I give you a cue?
Please.
Move to the target event and describe.
The target event and describe.
Temperatures.
High temperature and a cold temperature. Outdoors, there's a cold up here and a high temperature here.
Color.
Blue, red. It's like different levels of energy. Expanding, flowing.
Can you describe the red?
Flowing. Different shades of red.
Just write it down.
My pen. Oh, it's over here. Flowing. I got this red. I'm getting different reds. Red. Yeah, flowing. What else? That's flowing here. Inside. There's an event associated with a different time period. It's energy. There's energy and force. E equals MC squared.
Well, all right. So I kind of told you about the strategy that I started off with, and that is to do my call blasting. And what I'm doing now is I'm slowly working my way in to the lake by doing the call blasting.
Can I give you another cue?
Sure.
Describe the life or entity most closely associated with the event.
It's this right here. I'm getting this. Describe this. I was getting this leader, getting 4 years, segments of education, segments of leader of a group. Many admire the central figure. Yes, he's got skill. He's got some skill. Skill with tools also. So I was getting that flow, the red, the energy going downwards in that center portion, like where my head is right now. Getting that. Red, there's a historic event. I got leader. Leader makes it possible kind of thing.
Now today, well, actually I started last night, but I went about a quarter of the way around the lake, about sunset, a little before sunset, because it was too windy. It was too windy last night to get out on the lake.
Okay, can I give you another cue?
Yes, please. I just had to find my page.
Describe the purpose of the event.
So getting a milestone. I'm getting engineering. Getting a milestone. Okay.
I'm using, in brackets, you can just put purpose. And then Q on purpose and see what you got.
Support. I'm getting a patriotism. Support. I'm getting patriotism. Patriotism. What was it then thing? I just had this other thing about a timelessness, like a human dream. Timelessness. That's through the humanity and through the ages. Humanity through the ages. Humanity through the ages. The ages. And I'm getting impact. Impact on society. Impact. It's not humanity. No. Impacts humanity. Impacts humanity. Okay, timeless. Too many other things I said. It's a human. I said something like a human dream, or human fantasy, or human vision. It's like envisioned first. Vision first. It'll be cool to get this target. There's hardness here in the center over time. Over time it wears. I'm getting a curve up here. Like a... Okay, I'll look for stop now.
The second night, I was just getting ready to return to my tent, having seen no UFO activity whatsoever, when this happened. A huge swath of light cut across the sky. It had the speed of a meteor, but it was 10 times as wide as any meteor. If you missed it the first time, here is the instant replay.
I'm seeing a horizon, but that was not from above. That's to the right. The horizon this way, been getting it here. Something here, a hardness right here in the center. What is this? What is this?
Go ahead and probe and describe.
What is this? I'm getting lines, a little black. I'm getting black lines. Some black lines. What is that? What is this? Human. It's like this big. I mean, I'm getting like it has an impact. Impact, what is this? The sky, what is this? Lines going this way. In nature, laws, nature. Nature, getting some lines. I'm getting that same feeling I had before. I'm getting this. What is this? Structure back here. Getting structure back here, down. Away, there's like a degree angle, like the target's here. I mean, the target is here, then there's stuff that's distant back here. All right.
Can I give you a movement exercise?
Oh, please.
Move forward 10 minutes in time and describe. And go ahead and write that down. Move forward 10 minutes in time and describe.
Move forward. Culprit is gone.
Can you write that down? Emotions and intuitives?
I'm getting a little bit of like on edge. Someone is leader. Someone's wearing a hat. Okay.
Can you, can I give you another cue?
Please. Just sign that. Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to use your own words. Describe the culprit.
Grab the culprit. Okay. The culprit.
Remember, don't edit anything out. Just write it down. I see you're getting ideas. You're not writing them down. Describe the culprit.
I'm getting professional. Dreamed of this. Professional. Dreamed of this. Dreamed of this. Comes and goes. It's a temporal. It's a, the timeline of the planet. It's a temporal occupation. This person, a nice outfit.
Can you just so can you put parentheses around the word culprit?
Oh yeah, okay, culprit.
And then in brackets write intentions. Intentions in brackets, and that would be my word. And then Q on both of them and see what you get. So write down intentions also.
Yes.
In brackets, because it's monitor's words. Can you Q on both those words and just see what you get? You want to touch them. Touch them with your pen. Both of them.
Get it done. 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 Like I have to hit my note. Hit my mark. Execute the plan. I'm getting that wood again for some reason. Chamber. Okay. All right. Culprit. Culprit comes into the scene and leaves. Comes in and leaves. It's if you do this really well, that's what you do. An efficiency. There's like a not permanent custodianship, a leader, operator. Navigating. Social navigation. Okay, culprit and intentions. It's like someone is coming in doing something and it's impacting a bunch of people.
Okay, write that down.
Briefly, someone comes in and executes plan that affects plan, affecting greater, what did I say? Oh, I'm glad you recorded. Greater society, greater humans, greater comes and briefly it affects many. Affecting many. There's a lot of power, lots of different types of power.
Can you describe the power?
I'm getting a wide, dynamic orchestra of powers. There's big ones in the foreground that this whole thing is the intention of, but they're composed of little other powers, and there's powers on powers like fractal. All the way down, there's social powers. There's like a propulsive power, flowing power. There's kind of an explosive, energetic nature. Getting like power, mobility, many types of power. Getting this direction, propelling, flow, leaves, almost like leaves a legacy, leaves awake, and kind of like an affecting people, observers, watch.
That's one of the things that I keep thinking too, is that I myself was just in the aspect of, I'm packing up everything. We've got to go back to Seattle. I've got to get Igor back. I didn't think to clean up that or save that blood. So disoriented also. And then there was the incident with almost, getting killed by that logging truck. So, yeah.
The thing about this is over time. It's so many different types of power. This is a weird one, Doc. It's a weird one. It's a lot of chaos, entropy.
Can you write that down? Buddy, can I ask you one more thing?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you've been perceiving during the session that you haven't written down yet?
Yeah, I'm getting feelings of like a big sigh. I'm just going to write down a couple words I've been getting this kind of impact stone, movement, form, war, battle. It's ultimately just like spirit draining, kind of, especially for people like me who just like peace and tranquility and not fucking with nature.
There's a Bigfoot around here.
Yeah, sounds like
Hear
it.
that?
Okay, can you put that in? Can you write that down? Lives affected. And remember, the rule in CRV is to write everything down.
Efficiency, not permanent, custodianship, a leader, operator, crafts, navigator, social navigation. Okay. explosive, energetic nature. Getting like mobility, power, mobility, many types of power. Types. Propelling. I'm getting this direction. Flow. Leaves, almost like leaves a legacy. Leaves a wake. And kind of like affecting people, observers, watch. The thing about this is over time. Looked back at now differently. So many different types of power. What else am I getting from this target? I was getting lives affected. They're over here. And over time. Lives affected, people. Families, civilians, artists. Lives affected. Race. Sorry, I'm feeling instead of writing. It's over time. Civilians. Comes from civilians. Comes from civilians. It's like I'm getting like humanity's foible, humanity's plight, humanity's dream. It's like a weird. It's a combination of things.
You used the word bilateral symmetry.
Yeah.
That was way back. I don't think we mentioned that right now. Can you just cue on that and see what you get?
Okay, if this is the whole sheet of paper, I'm getting this bilateral symmetry right here. I'm getting bilateral symmetry. It's only symmetric this way, though.
Okay.
I'm getting movement in darker and wood color. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, buddy, can we do a break in the time? I think it was 11:11. Maybe now it's 11:12. Can you just do a look over what you wrote and just write down a few sentences about what you think the target contains?
I don't know. This is a weird one. I have thoughts of different.
Well, no. Look over what you wrote. Do it. Let's be fair to this.
Okay.
Don't think your way through it. Just look over what you wrote down the past couple pages, and just which of it feels correct to you, and what do you feel the target contains? I mean, if you feel it's a weird one, that's what you can put down. I mean, it's your sessions. I'm not going to tell you what to write down, but just look over what you wrote and see what do you feel the target contains. We'll do this like an interim summary, and maybe this will be the end. We'll just see depending on what feels like the most accurate now of everything that you just wrote down, and just summarize. The target contains.
When I returned home and was editing my video, I noticed there was something strange that got onto my boat that night at Mystery Lake. If you'll look at the FLIR temperature readings, you will notice the ambient temperature is about 13 to 14 degrees Celsius. However, my boat is colored blue. That means the boat is extremely cold, which would be impossible considering the warm temperature of the water. Now, if you look at this shot, as I move closer onto the boat, you can see these little splotches, and look at how the temperature drops down below -1 degrees. That means that whatever this is freezing. But it is impossible to be freezing because there's no ice on my boat. That cooler is there to keep my electronic equipment, and the ambient temperature is about 60 to 70 degrees. So what is on my boat? Well, now this is a very interesting aspect of what's going on here, that all day long, these cows starting this morning have been just totally agitated, screaming, mooing. As soon as I started recording, it stopped. There, you haven't heard one cow, and then before this, it was every few minutes, rah, rah, they just making so much noise. So I don't know what the answer to that is.
In summary, I felt a hecticness, an entropy.
Okay. Write it down. Just write it down.
Okay. Hecticness. Hecticness. Entropy. Against force. This against force thing. Rising against force. Force affects many. Something, the stuff in the background, your fractal nature back here. I'm getting to the different atmospheric. I'm getting a scene of something. I'm getting, it's a temporal thing. It's a very bizarre target. It's got energy. It's got all the different stuff I've expressed, and I'm a little confused because I can be at different places in the target, in different places in time.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you write that down?
I can be different places in time. It's like I kind of want to travel I can be different places in time. And time. This is like human nature. It's like human nature and perspective. Nature, I'm getting, defense, propulsion. I'm getting lots of different, you can see this from so many different perspectives. Actors, many. Great scope. Great scope. It's kind of, it's like a moral lesson in this. Like you're supposed to walk the path of virtue. A moral lesson. Learning from nature, kind of thing. Building on learning. Professionalism. What's it called? A skill? Yeah, skill. It's like many came together to help one person do something that affects many. Many. How cool is that? That's it, Doc. I don't know. Part of me feels like, I don't know. This is one of those targets where I'm getting so many different things. I shouldn't try and name it. I should give the information over and let it speak for itself on its own terms. But I was getting a support, a person lifted up. Movement, force, impact, blue, stone colors, wood, stone and shapes, and fractal nature below, a big vista.
Today, I went and I hiked all the way around the lake trail.
I don't know, Doc.
Okay, well, thanks.
How did I do? Did I do something? Will you let me know what the target was at some point? Send me a picture?
Yeah, it's still sort of, I don't have all the feedback yet, and it's part of as I mentioned, it's part of a documentary project.
Cool. Sometimes, for me too, I can keep recording and do whatever, and I can just go, use different techniques, whatever you want. And
yeah.
This is one of those targets. It seems like you can approach this from different, angles and perspectives and relativity and
right. Here, let me just Go
I'm
ahead.
getting a plane. I'm getting like there's different things going on. I'm getting like movement, like a force, like a rocket, flow. I'm getting all these different things from different perspectives. Different times. I'm getting a person seated of importance. I'm getting like a structure that's strong and supports, and that's very full, rich. It's a rich, dynamic target. I've enjoyed this. So
Yeah. Let me. Normally, I like to give all the feedback after a session but this is sort of a work in progress, and at some point you'll have all the feedback. Let me put it this way: in the not too distant future, because other viewers are still working on it. I feel for the integrity of the project, I should wait and give everyone the feedback at the same time. Does that seem to make
a great idea? And it gives you the opportunity to come back or do whatever you need.
And that gives you the opportunity. Maybe something will come to you that you want to add. It's if that feels like appropriate. And now if you hit that again, you do resume and the time and date, and you write a little more down. Oh, there you go.
Compass, a moral compass.
The moral compass. I see. Yes.
Cool. Well, thank you, Doc. I really enjoyed being working on target with you. It was really cool. I got
it's fun. We haven't done this in a while, and
it'll be interesting to see if I was resonating.
Yes. No. I can say there are definitely elements of contact there. There's definitely elements of contact. I just don't have all the details yet either. So
cool, exciting.
That's why we're asked to look into it. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Doc. I'm here for you to do with any questions you want. Clay,
thanks.
Whatever.
Talk to you soon, bud. Bye-bye.
No, today I finished what I started yesterday, and I hiked all the way around the lake trail. Have I found what I've
been looking for. And in a way I have, but like I said, what I'm looking for is that blood to show back up in that tent. So the plan for tonight then is, in about an hour, I'm going to go out and do the call blasting, and then at night I'm going to go around and I'm going to see what it was that was perturbing those cows, because they were making all kinds of noises I've never heard cows make before. So that is the plan for tonight.
All right, well, I don't normally do these selfie videos, but it is the last night of my investigation into the Cascade Bigfoot blood mystery. I have done everything that I wanted to do before this, as you could see, was I was doing my call blasting, and I am just listening and looking and watching to see if anything comes out, and in some time I will be bringing out the FLIR. I'm just listening now to see if anything happens. Remember that all day long there has been cow activity, and there have been cows all over this lake. They have been up, as we saw in the hills there. They were really disturbed about something. And lo and behold, no cows at all. I've heard one moo, I think. But before that, I did some call blasting. Ever since I started doing my call blasting, nothing. Just looking for Bigfoot. See if he's going to answer my calls on my last night out. The third night at the lake, I was not disappointed. As I was talking to my wife, my friends in the UFOs returned. I told my wife, hey, my friends are back. And sure enough, I saw at least 3 of the ships appear and then disappear, just like they did the year before. Once that show was over, I finished talking to my wife and sat in my chair waiting to see if anything else would happen, when suddenly this huge orange ball flashed across the sky. I wouldn't think anything more of it, except that it comes up again during the session of Remote Viewer 2.
What did I expect to find? I expected to find some answer to what actually happened here. And to be perfectly honest, I was hoping that the blood would show up again. And that's what I'm actually doing here. As you'll see, they're the same things that I did the first time I was here, and I'm just trying to get those same results.
Leaving Mystery Lake, I was naturally a little bit disappointed that I didn't have a blood sample to take with me. However, I was getting interesting feedback from Dr. Simeon Hein and his remote viewers. It was because of this feedback that I decided to change my approach. Instead of choosing the scientific method at this point in time and having the blood tested, I need to go talk to somebody who could either confirm or refute the results of these remote viewers. I needed to go to Gresham, Oregon, and I needed to find Tish Paquette, because if anybody could confirm or refute the remote viewers' findings, it was going to be Tish Paquette.
She floats in waves for the day to begin. A phone line could be so easy, but fade and fade.
Hi, Tish. Nice to see you.
Hi. Nice to meet you finally.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm pretty confused. I just want to explain to you, give you a little bit of background on, what has happened.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, a friend of mine and I went camping in the Cascades, and we were camping on this lake, and we found blood the last night or the morning that we were there.
Okay.
I have gone back to the site. I went back to try to recreate. I did the call blasting. I went out on the lake in my boat and it was on my loudspeaker. I did everything. I put up the tent. I had everything exactly the same truck, the same supplies, everything. The only thing that was different, Igor was not there.
Igor is your friend.
Was the friend from the first encounter.
And Igor is who?
Igor Burtsev, he's Russian, and he was here visiting. He was here for the Medellin Falls Bigfoot conference, and I just said, hey, Igor, I went to this woman's house, and he was staying with her, and I said, Igor, you want to go hunting Bigfoot with me? And he said, where are you going? I said, I don't know. He said, when are you coming back? I said, I don't know. He said, give me 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes, he took one knapsack with him. I I didn't have anything to do with the blood, and so the obvious thing is, well, did Igor have anything to do with it? And that's kind of the reason that I'm here, but the other reason that I'm here is because Igor could not, I don't know how he could have put fresh blood in a tent after camping in that heat for 2 days. We had no ice in our cooler. So I'm completely confused. I'm coming back, and the only thing that happened at that lake when I was there was a herd of cows that showed up the second day, and they were just making this racket and they were being herded by something that you can't see. And at one point in time, I actually followed the herd around the lake, and they became, not from me, but the whole herd became spooked and completely ran off up this hill. There's something going on at that lake, and what I'm trying to do is I'm going to send the blood in to get tested, but I don't really trust science. And so I've used remote viewers, and I don't know if you're familiar with remote viewing.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I've used them, and they've come up with some really, really interesting things. Can you just tell me a little bit about what it is you do and how you could possibly help me?
Okay. Yes, I am a hypnotist, but I'm primarily an intuitive. And so consequently, I read energy and I get information off of people's energy. And even those who've crossed over, they can come in, animals can come in. I also do experiencer hypnosis for people who have had some sort of paranormal issue that they want to revisit and look into, or past life stuff, or whatever. I run the gamut. I'm also part of an institute with my colleague, Institute for Conscious Expansion, and we do a lot of energy work and a lot of altered states of trance or reality, or whatever you want to call it. We help people deal with their intuitive giftings, because lots of times people awaken to an intuitive ability and they don't know how to handle it. And many times, especially when they were young and they weren't given any support or training, they grow up, and I'm not a doctor or psychologist. However, I've had many clients who have come in thinking they'd been diagnosed bipolar, and they're not bipolar. They just feel not just their stuff, but everyone else's stuff, and they think it's theirs. So then discerning and separating that out for them has been very beneficial. I've had a number of videos regarding Sasquatch where people have asked my opinion or try to connect or whatever. I always find that an honor.
But you've done documentaries, right?
Yes, I've been on a few.
Like, can you give me one documentary that we could watch? Besides this one.
I would love to, but you know what? I'm so sorry. I don't remember the names of them.
Okay.
You know, because it's like I come in, I read energy, I do my thing, and then that's it for me. I don't hang on to do that.
Wow, how modest. Can you explain what an intuitive is?
Okay. People will call me a psychic or a psychic intuitive. I don't use that term only because Hollywood has kind of glamorized and made it sound like, be like. And I pick up on a lot of other energies, not just, people used to come in here and say, tell me how long I'm going to live, or tell me, if I'm going to meet my soulmate or whatever. And I can do that, and I can charge a whole lot of money for 50 minutes. But I don't do that because I'm invested in you, body, mind, and spirit. And when you leave here as a whole being beginning again in your life. So I pick up on your energies, I pick up on your history, I pick up on people who've crossed over, and just help you manage your earth walk and letting go and releasing a lot of garbage that we've carried as humans.
There's an issue that, because you talk about dealing with people that haven't had encounters. I've interviewed a lot of people, and a few of them have come back and said, why is there no mental health for people that have had encounters. I've talked to people that are really messed up, that have seen Bigfoot.
I want you to know that times are changing, and so the reality of those experiences are becoming more commonplace. And so more and more people are engaging and seeking help, and more therapists and counselors are understanding those events and assisting. So more help is coming.
If I come and see you with a problem, is there, I hate to use the word cured, but you'll help me be able to deal with my life, this.
Yes, me and my colleagues, or my colleagues and I, we help you address usually the fear that's involved in it, and what's that fear about, and where does that fear come from. Again, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I've just worked with a lot of people in the last 40 years that, need some assistance. Dealing with a number of people that I've had experiences believing they were abducted. That isn't for me to say if they were or weren't. This is their energy, their reality, and you assist them through it and make some sort of sense of it where it's acceptable for them. I had one who actually turned himself into a mental institute to be tested because it just rocked his boat. And then over time, and then coming here and revisiting the issue, he was able to get to a place of acceptance, whether anyone believed him or not, because it doesn't matter what anyone else believes. It matters about you.
Mm-hmm. Help me.
I would love to address the tent and the blood. A question, if I may. Did you ever have a paranormal experience when you were a child?
I did. I had one, and I'll just go through it very quickly. I've talked about it on a couple of my podcasts, so people might be familiar with it, but when I was a kid, I was about 3 years old, and this is my first memory ever. My brother and I slept in the same bed, and he's 3 years older than I am, and 2 nights in a row, I remember waking up on the floor, and a voice told me, get back in the bed. And it was a masculine, not my mom. It was not my mom. So I don't know anything more than that. But 2 nights in a row it happened, and it was so disturbing to me. I went and I checked the door, and I made sure that bolt was locked. And I didn't say anything to my mom about it because I thought, well, I don't know what this is. And then to cut to the chase, watching a abduction show one time, a woman had recorded her abduction, and a voice said, don't wake up. And that was the same voice that said, get back in the bed. So that was I guess that was something. I don't know what it was.
But it made you curious.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. I find in many cases we've had a paranormal experience as a child, and then it's like it goes out on a thread or a frequency. So then other energies can pick up on that. So I've had Sasquatch experience when I was a child, and I know that they knew me, and I know that they know me now. But I couldn't have explained that as a child, what was going on, until I heard more and more stories about other people's experiences and go, oh, now I know what that is. But I truly believe that we have a connection to other energies because of those experiences. That led you here.
What are your initial reactions, thoughts, feelings, intuitions?
When you mentioned remote viewing, because I didn't want to know the location. I didn't want to know anything, because when someone asks me, I don't want to know, because then it's not a pure information giving. But when you said remote viewing in your tent, what I saw was from the top, the tent, and it's sitting kind of a little at an angle. So the front door is here. Well, Igor has a very interesting energy. He's very strong, very stubborn, very, no offense to him, I'm just saying the energy I'm picking up. And very linear on one hand and very childlike awe on the other. You two are an interesting blend in that tent for 2 days. But high regard, high respect for each other. What I saw was over here, Sasquatches, about 3, maybe 4 further in the back. And one had, the front one had terracotta color hair, and they're observing you. However, over here on this side of the tent, back a little ways, is another energy that's not human as we know it, and not Sasquatch, observing as well.
And that might be part of the whole mega aspect of it. And there's one taller kind of this thing, dangerous.
No ill will here, but they know your intent. They know why you're here. They're cautious because of their young. You're kind of in their birthing area, so they're highly suspicious of humans. This one is interested in just your human thinking.
Admire the central figure. Yes, he's got skill. He's got some skill.
I mean, the more I concentrate on this energy, it was just kind of an energy now, and then the more I see it, it becomes taller and thin, but not from here. So if you've had any UFO experiences or any ideologies of visitors, this one I've been told about they're kind of, I've had this, Nordics are what they're called. In fact, I believe that Nordics are very popularly seen perhaps in Russia. But anyway, be that as it may, I've seen this type of energy before on another location. No harm, just curious and kind of, if I can say, kind of smug, you know, kind of, over here, again, they think humans are funny, and they, at least these. And you mentioned the blood. Now there's several possibilities. I'm not getting a hit on the blood per se to say definitively, yes, it's Sasquatch, or maybe even calf, because you mentioned the cows, and it could very well be calf blood. But I don't know if you ever saw any calves, or if that's a meal that they have. I don't know. But they told me it isn't about you identifying the blood. So I don't know what experience you're going to go to for that or what you're going to get, but it's about what the blood leads you to, your journey, your process. But it isn't about being the one who's going to be the one to definitively say, hey, this is it and this is a fact and whatever. It's more about inward. It's more about what does Sasquatch mean to you? What doors does it open for you, and where can you find solace and peace in all of that? Not that continual search, but acceptance. And I can remember the drawings of the tribal people, and the children are holding the hands of Sasquatch, and they lived in harmony and they lived in peace. And that's one of the main messages that Sasquatch is constantly giving mankind. But it isn't so much even living in peace with them, it's living in peace in our own personhood. Okay, and again, you talk to anyone about Sasquatch and the meaning of their being here and interacting with mankind is to honor Gaia, to honor Mother Earth. I've said this before on a number of videos because that's one of their primary messages.
Not permanent custodianship.
Now this remote viewer did not mention Bigfoot specifically, another one did, but he keeps describing a tall, strong entity. So my question is, because Tish, I think we've solved the Bigfoot issue. I think that this is it. This is why you're never going to find them. This is why science is never going to confirm it, because and I've got 2 remote viewers saying this thing is in and it's out. Mm-hmm. And I think you're saying the same thing. It's there, but it's not there.
And this one is really highly interested in man's intelligence.
Okay, well, he's probably knocking on the wrong door there. But so Can you tell me anything about the relationship between Bigfoot, this species, entity, and the UFOs, the aliens? Are they the same? Are they working together? Are they, what, do you know anything about that?
From past experience that I have encountered and others that have come to see me, they're kind of on the same plane in a way. And I've said this before in the past, that Sasquatch is actually a gatekeeper.
It comes and goes. It's a temporal, it's a, the timeline of the planet, it's a temporal occupation.
A portal keeper, and tries to keep the balance between us and whatever else is coming through.
Okay, well, Tish, I appreciate your input, and the last thing that I'm going to ask you, actually I'm going to ask you two more things. You said that this would like initiate a path, a journey. What's my next step?
What is your next step? You have to decide what it is you're trying to prove, because it isn't about proving. You got to get rid of the proving part. It's just about experiencing and accepting. And it doesn't matter who believes, it doesn't matter who watches the video, it doesn't matter. It just opens up you and opens up your heart, opens up your awareness to all the possibilities of more. And it's wonderful. It's a great feeling. Yeah. You started out very linear. And I thought when you first contacted me, is he making a linear video or is he doing a supernatural video? What others would say supernatural or paranormal or whatever. Because then it's like, well, what do you want? Do you want this or do you want this? Because audiences are going to want one or the other. They have a hard time when you blend them because this is strictly science and now you jumped over here to the woo.
Yeah.
So you've come to the woo side or the paranormal side or the whatever you want to call it. Do you want us to confirm science?
No, what I want is I'm tired of blurry Bigfoot pictures and all of this. What I want is, I think I was given something. I think like the kid on E.T., that they chose me for whatever reason. And I don't, I can go out and say, yeah, Bigfoot left blood in my tent. Believe me just because I'm me. I don't know if you will follow social media, but people are not kind. And when you come out and say, oh, I found blood in my tent, I'd be the first one to say, oh, sure you did.
Sure you did.
So I'm not buying that because the simplest explanation is you put that blood there and there's nothing supernatural about it, whatever. So I'm going through the process of having the blood tested. I've got the University of California, Davis. They're the best vet lab in the country, and they said that they would test my blood. So we're going to see what happens with that.
Yeah.
And that will come out a little bit later.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter. You had an experience. You've had several. And what an honor. You don't have to explain it. You just say thank you.
Yeah, well, what I'm trying to do is the right thing.
It's like a moral lesson in this, like you're supposed to walk the path of virtue.
If they want me to do something with that blood, if they want it, I'm doing everything that I can.
I understand.
To do the right thing because they chose me for a reason.
Compass, a moral compass.
The moral compass.
Maybe it could just be a very personal thing just for you.
Yeah, well, yeah. I just want to make sure I'm doing the right thing.
Sure.
If they wanted me to do something with that blood, I'm going to follow through with what I can do.
I'll be curious on the outcome of the blood, but again, I get the message that it's not about the blood. It's about your journey and where that trail of blood takes you on your expansion of Sasquatch and other paranormal experiences and finding peace in yourself with that. Not having to prove, get rid of the prove.
Okay. It took me to you. So, that was very valuable right there because I had no answers. I had nothing. So this is at least a good start. So Tish, can I ask you to do me one more favor?
You can ask.
Before I go, yeah. Oh, well, it won't be illegal or immoral, I promise. But,
Thank you.
you know, I brought the tent. And I would like to see if I could just set it up and have you go inside and get what impressions you have
Okay.
from
okay.
it. You'll do that? You got time for it?
Sure, I can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know your time is money. But,
Yeah, you say tent and I get all kinds of feels and energy, so there's still energy in that tent. Anyway, yeah, well, let's try it. We'll either get something or we won't.
well, I don't want you to do it if you're too tense. So, anyway. All right, well, let's go check it out then,
Okay,
Tish.
sounds good.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Tish, here we are in the tent. Can you give us a little bit of your impression about what you think about what actually happened here? The other remote viewers talked about intent and purpose. Can you get into any of that? Can you discover what the intent or purpose of leaving that blood was? You talked about the Bigfoot being in the cycle of birthing, and you said that at the time we were there that is part of the birthing cycle. As crazy as it sounds, I mean, I looked at that blood, I cleaned it up. It did not look like normal blood, like from a fish or from meat or anything. It was thick and it was gooey, and every remote viewer described it the same way. Is that from the birth of a baby Bigfoot? All right, Tish, you know, you've really opened up so much that I didn't know before. And this has just been so enlightening because I was at square zero as far as this goes. And at least this gives me a track or a path to go on. So thank you again, Tish, and we'll be talking to you again soon. After leaving Tish Paquette's office, my next stop was going to be Moscow, Idaho. I had been receiving more messages from Dr. Simeon Hein that he and one of his remote viewers were getting some astonishing feedback and data from their current sessions.
There's no directions or telephone lines.
While I was there, I wanted to have my blood tested by the University of Idaho. They were having none of it. So I made my way to our rendezvous point, the Monarch Motel in the middle of lovely Moscow, Idaho.
But what else can we do? Never meant to give you peace of mind.
Once I arrived, I went up the stairs
Sometimes
and I knocked on the door. Then everything became very, very strange and unusual.
we can stare.
Once inside the room, all I could see was a big mess and a desktop monitor. On the monitor was Dr. Simeon Hein and his remote viewer. I sat down and listened to their remote viewing session.
They came up with some of their data without any leading from the monitor, whether the monitor knows what the target is or not. So can you, you mentioned male intelligence, is that right? Can you cue on that
Yes.
and see what you get?
So I get the concept mighty.
Over here, Sasquatches, about 3, maybe 4 further in the back. And one had, the front one had terracotta colored hair.
Full of knowledge. Dark color. Something oily. Maybe a material.
And so you can put that in parentheses.
Yeah.
Probe.
Like an oily sheen. A sheen. Oily sheen. Like oil on your skin. P4.5.
Can I give you another cue on that?
Yes.
So this is my word, so it goes in brackets. So in relation to oily, can you cue on source?
Yeah.
I guess that's concept source.
Source.
Origin or source.
Okay. I got red planet. From the being.
Can you cue on red?
Red? Yeah, I got ice. Like a horizontal. Round.
And can you cue on, did you say bean over there? And can you cue on bean? And, yep.
Curious.
And this one is really highly interested in man's intelligence.
Okay, well, he's probably knocking on the wrong door there.
Admire the central figure. Yes, he's got skill. He's got some skill.
Smiling. P4.5 is looking at me like I'm a child.
And can you cue on, you used another word around curious, which was odd. Can you cue on odd?
multidimensional. Out of the ordinary. Not from here.
Dream of this. It comes and goes. It's a temporal.
I mean, the more I concentrate on this energy, it was just kind of an energy now, and then the more I see it, it becomes taller and thin, but not from here. So if
It's like a unusual frequency. That you wouldn't normally encounter, just like an unusual situation. I'm just gonna drop Bigfoot.
So there it is, the Cascade Bigfoot Blood Mystery. What you've seen is a recreation of the event. You've seen remote viewers looking at the event, remote viewers who had no idea what the target was, what they were supposed to be looking at, but remote viewers that came up with essentially the same data, the same entities, and also confirmed in a way by intuitive Tish Paquette. Now, in Cascade Bigfoot, Blood Mystery, Blood Trails, which will be our last segment, our last documentary segment, we're going to look at the scientific answers. We're going to do a polygraph test. We're going to do DNA testing. And we are going to do a hypnotherapy session to see if there was anything I could have missed that morning of the Blood Mystery. So, we are still on our adventure, we're still on the trek, we're still looking for answers. And those answers will hopefully come in the last installment of the Cascade Bigfoot Blood Mystery series. I'm Matthew Heines for Encounters USA. I hope you enjoyed this documentary. I hope you will stick with us through the final solution, and I hope you will understand that Bigfoot is not what we thought it was. And there's a lot of things in this world that are not what we think they are. So, I'm Matthew Heines for Encounters USA. Please remember what we always say, always watch your back. We'll see you in the next documentary.
There's no directions or telephone lines, no misconceptions to prey on your mind. And from this window